And of course, I accidentally give a double thumbs up, and this is happening. That being said, how many six does it take till you get to the center of a? Oh, how many six? Okay, I'm running. I ran out of sex or songs with sex in the lyrics, so I had to switch it up. I would apologize if I were sorry, but I'm not. Hi, Jack.
Hi, was that the Tootsie Pop?
You could say that. I think that song
Okay.
might be older than you are. I'm truly. That's not shade. That's not me throwing jabs at your age. I truly think it could be.
I
I
mean,
I
at
was
this
you know
point, Alex, I don't know.
I don't know either. What are we doing other than just having a great time talking about our favorite YouTube series? That being said, hi Jack.
Hi, Alex. Welcome back to another lovely episode of Recendance.
I
Uh,
love the lovely episode of Ascendance. We're so excited.
um, for full context, the best time that we could record this episode for all of the guests is
Uh,
11:30 p.m. on a Monday. We're doing great.
we're doing fantastic. And this is a supersized panel that we have in this episode. I think it's only our second because we had not only one elimination this episode, we had a double elimination this episode. But before we get into all the fun of that, we have a few people we absolutely would be remiss if we did not thank and take the opportunity to give some shout outs and some love.
Yes. So, first off, once again, thank you to the lovely team at Subversion and specifically Lee for giving us the StreamYard to do this entire project in. In
Thank you.
addition, thank you to Duke and his Lost at Sea channel for giving us a place to post this. If you have enjoyed us covering it, go watch the Descendants.
Descendants.
I,
Go watch The Descendants.
I,
We love our sister podcast.
my brain is working and it's working well.
You're
And
perfect.
finally, thank you to the lovely team at Ascendance for giving us the opportunity to do this style of recap and exit interview podcast. And thank you specifically to Papa for checking these videos every week. And then Papa and Rachel for giving us the lovely graphics we use for our slides.
You are the wind that gives us the ability to soar. So thank you to everyone involved. We appreciate for all of you contributing to help us do what we love to do, which is hear ourselves talk. And yeah, speaking of talking, we have a couple of people that we need to bring on in.
Yes, it was a gag to see them go. It was a gag to see the plan go through. Welcome in the other person eliminated from this episode, Derek.
I was gonna wait a
Along.
minute. You say other as though we know who the first elimination was, which I guess technically in this case was Derek. Hi, Derek. Welcome back.
Hi, I'm so happy to be back.
Happy to have you. Happy to see my wonder twin as far as
Yes.
elimination goes. Because yes, Derek, you and I saw the mutual devastation that was your elimination and my elimination this week.
Yes.
The gag, the goopery, the utter Greek tragedy that we experienced. It is so amazing to have you back here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And then we also have a few guest stars. Derek wanted to bring the man, the myth, the legend. What was it? We do have Maddie returning to Recendance. Maddie, welcome back. Thank you again so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to see you again.
It's a pleasure to be seen. Thank
Of
you
course.
for having me.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Derek, I suppose. Yes. This is
I love that we suppose.
We suppose.
the competition's really heating up, girl.
I was going to say, you're not wrong. And then what was it for my guest this week? My emotional support blanket, my good Judy, and what was it? Quite the memory whiz. We also have Ba-da-da-da-da. We have Sam joining us this week.
What's up, y'all? It's Sam the Ram, aka Ramilton. Ready to get busy.
I did pay him to say that. Yes, absolutely. Sam, welcome. Making your debut here at Recendance. We're very excited to have you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. What was it? Sam is on the mend. So doubly thank you for doing this, because you absolutely did not have to, but we are very grateful to have you here.
It's okay. It's like when Michael Jordan played with the flu, you know? You gotta give the people what they want.
I will take your word for it. Sports references are fun.
Sports.
Yeah, no, you threw a sports reference on a panel of other gay people. I don't know what you expected.
Sports ball.
But thank you to all four of you for being here. This is a very, very fun panel, especially because, I mean, we essentially have nearly half of the final 11 and potentially some of, if not the most impactful players of the entire round, because every single person here either won a competition or name was thrown out. So this is going to be a really, really nice time dissecting through a double header of an episode. With that said, before we get started, just looking back at the last episode with, as my brain continues to jog, Stevie being out. We'll start with Derek. How are you feeling as Stevie is the last pre-juror to bite the dust?
So there was elements of my game that knew that Stevie was after me. There was elements of knowing that I couldn't trust him. When this, plan ultimately came together to get him out, I was all for it, and I really didn't have to do anything to do it. Other people kind of came up with it. Reynolds was a big proponent of it, and I wasn't going to stop it. I knew that he didn't trust me.
That Stevie didn't trust you.
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to say, Stevie not trusting you is very interesting. But we'll jump to Maddie here. How did you feel about Stevie's boot?
I mean, love Stevie, yes, Stevie. Obviously awful for I didn't vote. I wasn't involved in this at all. I was safe, but I was not upset to be a part of this plan. Stevie obviously was very vocally, both to people in the game that weren't me and people in the game who were me, that he was coming after me. So I was like, I mean, what else is there to say? What else is there to say? R.I.P. Stevie.
And finally, Sam.
It sucked. I hated it. I was really bummed about it because I was really good homies in this game with Stevie. Like I really viewed him as like my one sort of guy that would have me come merge, not necessarily just trust on votes, but I was thinking this guy's really good at comps. I know I'm good at comps. If we can just get to merge, or sorry, the individual portion, then at that time we can just keep co-captaining each other, like win captain and I'll give him co-captain and then he wins and gives it to me. Mm-hmm. And so when that happened, I was like, oh my gosh, like now I don't have that other person. And especially like, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but it sucked. I was sad to see him go. I trusted him, and I think we would have been really good for each other's game.
Yeah, I mean, we do start our lovely little episode with Monty basically saying like, yeah, no, I was left out of the vote. That basically burned my number one out of the game. I don't know what I'm going to be doing now. And Alex, on your end, you end up being worried about how you are now a comp threat moving forward of like, well, the big shield is gone. Is it now my turn where I get targeted for that? So like walk us through your feelings on Stevie.
Yeah, so I didn't want Stevie to go. We talked last week when Stevie and Monty were here, where basically in my mind, I saw it in my best interest for Stevie to stay, because despite some people's potential thoughts on it, I did have a reasonable read on what was going on in the game, what was going down. That being said, I didn't want Stevie to go, but once it turned into Andrew dragging his heels about keeping Stevie, that's when I was like, well, at this point, I'm just voting just to be in the minority yet again. And I figured there was a chance that my voting track record was going to come back and haunt me. I didn't realize the double was happening this episode. So once that happened, I was like, oh, any constellation of people, there is a good chance my name is going to come up, and it's going to come up quick. So yeah, so I was not particularly thrilled to see Stevie go, and I had won 2 social comps, and then in the in the battle or Revenge of the Fallen, I had beat 4 of the 5 eliminated players, and I was one of only 2 people to do that, Stevie being the second, who had just left. So I was like, while there were absolutely competitions I was not great at, there were competitions where I definitely showed that I could perform particularly well. And I thought, I don't want to have that between my voting record, comp wins, things like that. I was like, I don't need any more reasons for people to want me out. So Stevie's staying to land the plane. And Stevie staying was something that I was like, hey, this might buy me a round. And once he left, I was like, well, there goes my shield. Yeah. So rest in power, Stevie. We love you. So
with that said, we quickly move on to the captain's challenge for the round, which is a relatively classic, if you've seen any other sort of reality TV, where it is a lovely little, here's a sequence of things. Tell me the sequence back. Going into this, just for everyone, where was your mind at with, oh, I could win this. Oh, this is not going to go well.
I mean, I honestly went into it just, I know I'm a cocky motherfucker. Can I cuss?
Yes.
There goes our YouTube sponsorship. Yeah. God damn
it. You can now.
Sam, you know me. You know I say fuck like 5 times an episode, and it's not even intentional. So
okay.
Yes.
Well, I know I was cocky about it, but I really went into it like, this is mine to lose. I was like, I should win it, and if I lose, it's because I just messed up. But I guess isn't it like that for everybody? Anyways, I was like, I'm winning this.
I was delusional because I'm usually awful at memory, but I felt like I really found my memory groove in a captain's challenge earlier in the season. And I was like, I can do this. I know the strategy now. Everybody's been telling me about the mnemonics, and you just do the and we just went back to square one, and that was okay. That was fine. It was fine. Okay.
I know for me, this is a challenge I've done before in online games. It's something that I've actually spent time practicing. I was very confident going into it. I knew that it was something I could do relatively well at. Of course, in all these challenges, I put a lot of pressure on myself, and that also hinders me to a certain degree too. But I ended up doing pretty well. I think I made it to the top 4. I wish I could have done just a little bit better, given what happens, but I felt pretty good going into it.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it was a memory competition, I was like, if I am even remotely near the top 2 spot, it's because everybody else is really bad at this. So I figured I would probably land about mid as far as placement wise. So the fact that I think out of 11 people, I think I got 5th, maybe 6th. So I either was dead center. I have a cat. I was either dead center or I think I got fifth, and I was like, that's about where I figured I would land. So, pew, 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 pew.
At least on my end, one of the few highlights I have in an org career is this challenge being run individually, and I think I got to like a 57 long sequence or something bullshittingly insane like that. Complete overkill, by the way, and I did go home the next round because everyone was like, the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do that? So going in, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna do great. We have this like physical cube in front of us. Okay, I'm gonna map it out on the cube. The second I did that, I lost. Because all of the mnemonics and everything flew out of my head. I was like, let me map this out on the cube and like rotate it in my mind. And then I remembered about 2 seconds later, oh, I can't rotate things in my mind. Shit. So yeah, no, that went bad, and it went bad fast.
That sound, just thinking about that is terrifying me. Trying to move a cube, that scares the hell out of me.
It's like right, left, left. Like trying to put it
And then
that
you-
way, I'm like, I do better just remembering the colors.
And then
But
you
that's
make a
just-
wrong turn, you know, you
Right.
Oh, that's literally what I do.
Yeah.
50. Did you say 53, 57? How many? What was the sequence?
57.
I gotta be honest. I love you to death. If you had done that in Ascendance, I'd be like, do I need to vote out Jack? Oh my god.
If I had done that in Ascendance, a red sniper dot would have appeared on my head on the spot, and it wouldn't have just been acne. But yeah, no, this I mean, we see people drop out probably every 1, 2, 3 questions. And then, I mean,
I had to make the one comment, and I promise it's not like me wanting to pick on anyone or be shady. The fact that in the first sequence, 2 people get eliminated by selecting a color that wasn't even part of the sequence. I'm like, my memory is questionable at best. At my nicest, it is questionable. But it was like a orange and yellow were not even in the sequence. Why would anyone throw?
One of them
orange and
was.
yellow?
One of them was. It was orange or yellow, and the other one was not.
Not in the
wait,
first. In the
okay,
first
nope,
sequence.
now I'm doubting myself. Give me a second, because I could have
maybe I'm
remembered
mistaken,
it
but
being...
Go back
know-
to tapes.
I was gonna say roll the tape. No, I thought it was that. That just made me go because I think it was
Yeah.
Reynolds, if I'm not mistaken.
Reynolds,
remember Reynolds
the
being
one he
third.
did was
And
not in it at all.
And I remember just thinking, is Reynolds throwing this?
Yeah.
Like, that color wasn't even in the sequence. I think the first sequence was red, white, what was it? Blue, and whatever the other color that must have been green.
I regret to inform you the sequence was red, blue, green, white. Meaning
No,
that,
that's-
both
So
of
yeah,
them
so orange and
showing
yellow were
orange
not
and
part of the
yellow,
sequence.
not part of the sequence. Both of them go out after stating an answer that is not part of the answer sequence at all.
Red, blue,
Yeah.
I literally watched back the tape.
green and yellow. Green and yellow. You mix something with yellow to get green. So
This is valid and this is fair.
Blue?
What was it? It wasn't. I feel
Natty.
bad even bringing it up now because it truly was just in my mind. Like, are they throwing this? Am I not?
for
Am I
the
not in as
record,
much
can
danger as I think I
confirm was not, but
Green is
maybe,
yellow.
maybe a little sleepy.
Awesome.
This was the last round of the day, and I know mentally I was tapped.
All of us were.
Yeah, this was definitely. I think you can definitely see it on my face where I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want to lie down. But sorry, that in my mind I was just like, well, that was interesting. And then to Jack's point, we do see maybe a person every sequence, if not 2 people every sequence, get eliminated. And then yeah, Derek and Sam are both there towards the end. Rocking it out and doing amazing things with those cubes. I want to say when I got out, I was pretty confident in the color that I threw because I remember being like, wait, yellow is not white. So Things did not work out. But Derek, what were your thoughts when you got eliminated? Or Matt, that's the questions for Maddie as well. What were y'all's thoughts when you got eliminated? Disappointed, upset, not bothered, not worried?
I think being that it was the last full round of the day, and so I felt like that whole day I was on a little bit of a roller coaster. I had copped votes at the first round of the day. I got somebody who I kind of wanted out for a long time out. So it was just kind of going up. I won a captain's challenge. I was like, okay, let's win another captain's challenge. Let's close it out. Let's be safe. Let's make it through. So I was a little disappointed, but at the same time, there was an element of, do I really want to win back to back? I did, but like I can play it off if I don't. So it wasn't end of the world.
Yeah. I definitely was nervous having as well. I mean, I felt like I was kind of in the same boat as Derek. We'd both received votes that day, and I feel like there was a lot of heat there. The pendant. I was kind of like, I was rooting for Derek to like win, like when you were closer to the end, but also I was like, I feel like there's a little like more on you now. I don't like, oh, maybe like it's better for you not to be safe. I feel like no matter what, like we're kind of like getting cooked here. I was very, so I was a little nervous.
Wait, but were you a little nervous?
A little nervous.
But is it, wait, what is it fashion? Is it
I
fashion?
think I was so nervous that I didn't realize that yellow or orange was in the sequence.
That challenge or that type of challenge is definitely not my forte. So I only brought up the throwing in colors that weren't part of the sequence of it all, mostly because I have made that mistake before. So I say it with love. My cat is a... I know, right? I can't. Well, let's do it right now. Let's just rehash the challenge right
now.
As soon as my cat decides if he wants
Funnily
to.
enough, I have shipped every single player a Rubik's Cube. It is outside your door, and I have a whole slideshow. But
hey,
that's the kind of thing I have like nightmares about.
Wait. So Sam, were you in a similar boat as far? I think you mentioned in the confessional they show it that you're like, yeah, I feel like I need this one.
Oh, 100%. That's why I was laughing. Like, I think off camera I say something about like, at that point, at least from my perspective, I was like, I'm the number one, like, obvious house target. And that's what made the Stevie boot so devastating. Because I liked other people on the cast who, like, I trusted and they were also being said. Like yourself, Alex, I had heard your name prior, your name had been out there and I trusted you, but I felt like me and Stevie were the two names that I was like, if either of us is vulnerable, we're probably just going to be the vote. And I go in there and I'm just dying laughing because I feel like that was my, I believe you have a prompt moment. Where I just turn and nobody is excited for me to win this captain's comp, and it was just... What's that?
Nobody excited?
We were all out of the room. Like I think it was
in the kitchen.
Y'all are in the kitchen. I'll tell you, there was certainly not a joyous uproar. There were some courteous golf claps, if I recall. And so I thought that was pretty funny. So I needed that W in my opinion.
Interesting.
I think for me, I don't remember having an issue with you winning. I think in my mind, I was like, what's this round? What happens this round? How is it going to be broken up? Teams of 3, 2 teams of 5, whatever the case may be. I think my brain was like, okay, how do I start trying to lay the foundation of surviving this round so that I can get a night's sleep and hopefully recharge? So yeah, that's interesting because I know what it's like when you win a competition. People are like,
yeah,
it's not a good feeling. Not a good feeling at all.
Because I think one thing that was also interesting is up until this point, I had felt like I had some good like one-on-ones and I had some solid relationships, but I don't think I was the popular pick for like, let's get in a group with somebody. I think it was more like, all right, Alex, I feel good with you. Maddie, we had a good conversation. Derek, we're good. But it wasn't like, oh, let's get in a group and discuss how we're going to shape the game. I was kind of just, I was a little rogue in some regard once I put on the masks, so to speak, with the half pendant. I think everyone was like, I don't know if I can trust this guy. And so I think this was the first time after that where I got power. And people were like, what's he going to do with it?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, it is a very almost like Keanu of like, you are so out there and so public with all of your chaos that everyone is now like, well, that's no longer an option. And you can see like kind of the panic on everyone's face going into this team selection where everyone's like, what is the play? Like, and it doesn't help that we get a twist part way through it of, Sam, you get to decide 2 people, and then the train stops with your decision making because it is going to be, I want to say for the first time, although I'm not confident in that assertion at all, a chain draft where essentially each person will then pick the next player on their team unless it is physically impossible. So, Sam, did having the responsibility, funnily enough, like Maddie in a way, where it kind of got lifted off your shoulders to draft the teams, was that a good thing in your mind? Was that a bad thing? Did you care?
You know, that's really funny. It was almost a little bit of both, where I was like you see in my laundry room, I didn't necessarily have a direct, this is exactly what I'm going to do. And I was worried because that was the first time I had to show cards, so to speak. Like, and people can speculate on what a team composition means, but anytime you make a choice of a team composition, that means those people are going to make their assumptions. And so when I didn't have to do that, and I just had to pick Derek and Lee, like, it worked perfectly. And like, so I was pretty happy with not having that. But I will say I was worried because I was like, I don't necessarily know my full end goal of like, this is my number one priority for this to happen, but there are things I don't want to happen. And so I was like, what if a team starts getting picked and the writing's on the wall, you know what I mean? So that was kind of where I got to.
What was it? I'm sorry I had to step away, and if this has already been answered, my apologies. Did you already walk us through why specifically you chose Lee and Derek as your first 2 picks?
Yeah, so with regards to them being first, I will say at this time, I would lean more into them both being picks that I could justify. And what I mean by that is I felt really good with Lee. I felt really good with Derek. But I was also scared as shit of Derek and scared as shit of Lee. And so I was thinking like, okay, by starting with them, even if they're a target or if they're someone I want to work with in a vote, I don't think they could necessarily be upset or get mad. I think they would feel better with me if I picked them first. So I was like, okay, if I draft Derek and we end up keeping him, he's going to be like, wow, Sam picked me first. He likes me. But then if I want to blindside Derek, it's going to feel like that relationship feels a little bit better. He's like, oh, he picked me first. And so I would have that cover. And I felt the same way with Lee that round. Honestly, there were 2 people that were very high profile in terms of, very well connected, but also in my mind, people who like, if I can get these people on the right team, maybe can get them out of the game, which I might not be able to do when the whole gang's together, you know, like when the whole game is voting, I don't think I can get a vote through on this person, but maybe with the right group, I will. And I'll say, like, just because you're here, Derek, I think the main reason it shifted from this is someone I'm working with to this is someone I'm working with, but also like I can't necessarily keep them around, was the night before. Derek and we have a really good talk at the pool, and I felt great. And Derek, you made me feel like the only girl in the world. And I was like, I'm special. Derek loves me.
My
We're-
impact.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, mwah, I'm all yours. And so we get back, and I'm like still sitting outside under the stairs. And then I see Derek walk back there with Maddie. And I was like, okay, so there's two girls. And then I see later Derek talking to Reynolds. And I was like,
And
oh
then
my
Alex,
gosh.
and then yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, I feel so good with Derek, but do all of these people as well? And so that's when it shifted from this is someone I really want to keep around and keep working with to this is someone who I actually don't know if they're on my side.
Yeah. And I mean, funnily enough, I was going to pivot it right to Derek because right after we find out, oh, it's a chain draft, Derek, you have first choice out of everyone.
Yes.
So I do have to ask, why Molly?
So beyond Maddie, Molly would probably have been the next person I was closest to. We had that established final three that was kind of talked about in an earlier episode. I wanted to pick Molly to pick Maddie, but I didn't want to pick Maddie directly because Maddie had just pendited me. Obviously, like Maddie and I being in a relationship was probably obvious, but I wanted to do what I could within my power to at least not show it with my actions.
Did you
Maddie
just announce
had-
that you and Maddie were in a relationship? Sorry, continue.
That's exactly.
Obviously, Maddie pendited me.
Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
But I never did anything to show or exemplify that like rapport with us back on pen and paper for everybody to see. So I was really hoping that by choosing Molly, I could kind of alleviate, okay, well, yes, Maddie trusts me, but maybe in the grand perception, maybe I don't trust Maddie. Like, it was probably obvious that we were close together, but just trying. Yeah, I was expecting Molly to pick Maddie, and yeah, she didn't.
That did not happen. We then continue to just slowly move down the chain. From Derek, you pick Molly. Lee picks Reynolds, his number one. Molly picks Andrew, and then Reynolds picks Maddie, meaning that you two are split. And then Andrew picks Monty, and then Maddie. There were three choices left on the table for you: Alex, myself, and Antoinette. So why Alex?
Okay, so I guess I was looking at the team that I was already with, which was Lee and Reynolds, and I knew that they were voting together. At that point, I was aware that they were a pretty tight relationship in the game. So I knew that no matter what, I was going to have to work with them that round. And yeah, unfortunately, it meant that I knew that if I chose Antoinette, that she would never, I don't think that she would have went over me. And then there was you, and there was Alex, and Alex, you would all, I mean, like, it was just, you know, we weren't, I feel like the feeling is reciprocated, and that, I mean, it's up, the numbers are there, and
girl, you're not hurting my feelings. Like, yeah, it made perfect sense when you chose
it made sense just because of the trends that had been trending, and I really did feel like that no matter what configuration of it there was, that I was going to get votes in that round if we were going to go to elimination. So that just felt like the best chance. Sorry.
I was gonna say, and let's be honest, you read the room quite correctly, so I can't be mad at that.
I mean, watching back though, I will say it was much more of a nail biter. That we can talk about it later, but it felt like more of a nail biter than it felt like in the moment. which was not like a nail biter.
Well, I was gonna say, part of me wonders if any of that is the magic of editing.
I don't know. I don't know. We
can definitely get into that for
I think.
sure. But yeah, no. When you picked me, I was like, well, I just voted for him in the Rose vote. I voted for him in the Jack vote. So I highly doubt that Maddie has selected me for the desire to let bygones be bygones.
On the flip side, we hadn't learned it was a double yet, and I
Correct.
thought out of the remaining 3,
of course,
you would be amazed that you would be the asset to in a challenge as well.
Oh. Well, that's very sweet of you to say. Thank
So
you.
there was good and there was dubious chaos.
Look, I think for it to technically be dubious, it would have to be like something that would have been
not dubious. That just
like you strategically you were setting up the dominoes that if you wanted to win a challenge, I wasn't a terrible person to have, but you were also setting up the dominoes that if we lost in the event of a team challenge, you had an obvious target, and that's how you're supposed to play the game, in my opinion.
Well then.
Yeah. I have nothing but love for the move, and I think what you did made perfect sense even at the time. So yeah, you got nothing but support from my corner as far as the move that you made. So
bless.
All right, I don't know. Maybe I'm misreading. I'm like you did not hurt my feelings at the time. You are not hurting my feelings by talking about it now.
I don't feel like I hurt your feelings by picking you or never talking about it now.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I'm just. And it's fun, and I don't. It's all good. Yeah.
It's all gravy.
Great. Yes.
And we love gravy here at Recendance.
We love gravy.
Yeah.
Love gravy along with loving our teams. So we do have the finalized green team, which is Maddie, Alex, Lee, Reynolds, and Antoinette placed there by default.
Yeah.
And then we have Molly, Derek, Monty, and Andrew, with me being Monty's choice over Antoinette. And then the other shoe drops of, so this next challenge is actually a double, and it's purely for safety. So I mean, Maddie, you are like very much just like in the moment going, yeah, it was bound to happen. You even say in the confessional, like, I've been waiting for this all day.
Oh my god, I was surprised it hadn't happened yet. Twice at least. Like, yeah.
But Derek, Sam, Alex, how are you feeling with this now being a double and realizing the teams you were on?
I was like, hell yeah. Good time to be safe, motherfucker.
Yeah, I bet it was.
That's the one. That's really the one.
So for me, when I was in the game, I had a little bit of what we call delusion, where I felt great with everybody, and I was like, you know what? This is a great team. I have a great rapport with Molly. I have a good relationship with Andrew. I felt like my relationship was good with Jack. Like, I was like, there's an obvious target in Monty. We got this. Like, yes, I want to win. Like, that would have been great to have won the individual challenge. But I kind of knew going into it with our team makeup, I was like, okay, this is the person I'm going to push for and see what happens.
I was thinking, damn it. Damn it. Because in my mind, I was thinking, oh, crap. If it's a team challenge, what was it? If it's logic or puzzles, Lee had already done really well. Reynolds had already done very well in some physical or dexterity type challenges. I was like, we've got a good shot. And then it was a 50-50, depending upon if it was a green versus yellow. You got a 50-50 chance of winning, to go into I now have a 1 in 5 shot of winning. Damn it! So yeah, I was not particularly enthralled. I was not enthralled. Enthused. Yeah. Enthused is the word I was trying to get out. Because I literally thought, if Maddie gets immunity, That's all she wrote, because the writing was on the wall that Lee and Reynolds were very, very tight, and I pretty much had felt like Antoinette had never fully done, as much as I was like, hey, I'm not voting for a woman, I'm not voting for a woman. Antoinette never, she would say thank you and things like that, but it was never really like I appreciate that you're, trying to defend the women. I want to look out for you as well. It was very not that vibe. So I was like, the only way I survive if I don't win immunity is if Maddie is not immune and they are more worried about Maddie than they are about me. So I was not very excited about that being a double elimination for those reasons. So
likewise for the same reasons. Oh my gosh. I didn't know. I felt like Lee and Reynolds would kind of like call the day in terms of that. I felt pretty confident about Antoinette just because she had told me just before the last elimination that she was going to use the join a vote to vote for you. So I was like, okay, so maybe I feel like okay there, but that's just one. Yeah. So it was very iffy, very iffy, especially with the shenanigans that we see. Yes.
Wait, shenanigans from last round or shenanigans from this round?
The ones to come.
Yeah.
We'll stay. We could stay in chronology,
Oh sure.
From this round, yeah. Because
this round, yes. No. I assume that's what Maddie meant. I was just being silly.
And further, I just want to say, going into that one, knowing that Sam was captain, and just like I don't think anybody knew what Sam was up to because of what Grandma brought him and everything. And for context, it was the first thing that I saw when I woke up that morning. Sam was in bed laying with it, like around his neck like this. And I like turn around and he's just like, hey. And I was, oh my gosh. So I didn't know anything about what you were. It was great because you mystified people, you annoyed people, but I think it was like, what's he doing?
I want to chime in here real quick too, because I want to give like an alternative opinion. I didn't care that you wore the pendant around your neck. I didn't like care that you won captain. Like in any, I didn't care in any bad way. I was happy for you. I knew that we had such a great conversation last night, and with some of the personal things that we had talked about, I just kind of chalked it up to, this is your way of trying to make it right for you, trying to make it feel good, still enjoying yourself. Like this is what that shaped as. So I just want to say, for me, I was never threatened by you wearing it around, and I was never threatened by you winning. I was very happy with both of those things because it felt like you were enjoying it. You were enjoying yourself. And I'm a very face value player too. It takes a lot to scare me. You got to really say something to scare me. Otherwise, I'm just going to believe that you're playing your best game and doing what you feel is right for you.
I love that. That's so sweet.
That's beautiful. I would say that's beautiful. I wouldn't say that I was necessarily threatened, but I did suspect that there was some sort of motivation or like, something behind this, like, just that's why it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild if you think about it.
On pen and paper, it is wild.
It's super fun. That's granted. But also to like wake up and be like, what? Wait, where are we? And
I remember having a conversation with Sam and I didn't even notice it. And then I go and have a conversation with somebody else and they're like, did you notice the pendant? And I'm like, what pendant? What are you talking about? I'm half asleep still. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I wasn't worried about it in like a game mechanical way because it was like a half of a one. And I was like, if you're wearing it, like, I don't know, like you're trying to like draw out the other one or like something, like, I don't know. But like, perhaps if you had both, like, you wouldn't, I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was pretty wild. But I know that, Sam the Ram is pretty wild too.
I was like, we know that. We love
that. We know that now.
Sam is definitely a wild one. I think we talked about it in Rose's episode, and I want to say this is not revisionist history, but anyone can keep me accurate if they remember me saying or doing anything different. Sam that morning with the pendant, Molly and I were having a conversation. He came into the room and was just like, oh, hey, yeah, it's a grandmother's heirloom. And also, I heard that you were both of you were talking about me, which at that point, Sam was my closest ally in the game. And I was like, I wasn't. Who said that? And you were like, no, it's just what I've heard. And I was like, okay. So the person I thought I was closest to, Sam and I had a conversation at the pool the night before as well. That wasn't I know. I thought I was the prettiest girl.
I know, and I'm the bad guy for talking to other people.
I thought I was Sam's pretty girl.
Funny how the coin is the same on the both sides.
Funny how the turntables and
Exactly.
That being said, so Sam comes in and it's like my closest ally is like, hey, I heard you're talking about me. Won't tell me who said it. And I'm like, okay. I think it had probably already happened the night before. Lee was probably my number 2, if not my number. Lee and Sam did this in my mind because I was like, I don't know who is going to try and take me to the end. But Lee, on multiple occasions, when I'd walk in a room and he was like, oh, can you give us a minute? Which is totally fine. But if you trust someone, if you're working with someone, there's an element of, oh, I'm sorry I had to ask you to leave the room. This is what we were talking about. This is what's being discussed. This is what's going on. So basically, if I wasn't doing backflips when Sam won, I think that was kind of part of it, where I was like, the 2 people in the game that I feel the closest to strategically, and Jack, those are basically like my top 3. Those were the ones where I was like, I feel like the only person who seems still as excited to be working with me as I am with them is Jack. Everyone else seems to have their fingers in a lot of pots, and I don't really know what to make of that. So that all to be said, what was it? Sam and the pendant of it all. I personally, a lot of people like, why would he do that? I'm like, well, if you only have half a pendant and you're trying to get someone else to have the other half of the pendant, but how do you find out who has the other half of the pendant? Unless the other person with it can say, hey, Sam, want to go have a conversation? Otherwise, you kind of have to one at a time go up to everyone and be like, hey, I have half a pendant. You also risk people being like, well, Sam told 4 people before he told me. If you just make it out and in the open, it's not something I don't think I would have quite done, but I do see the logic and the strategy behind it. Assuming that was Sam's logic and strategy. Maybe your reasonings were different, but to me it made sense. I think that was just where I was like, I think the people that I feel closest to in the game are either don't want to work with me, which is how I perceived you at the time. And then also it's like they don't want me in the room when they're talking strategy, which is never a great sign when you're in a game like this.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. We were traumatized in this game. I'm going to go ahead and say that. But that being said, no harm, no foul. And I'm sorry, that wasn't intended to be the rant that it was, but it really was just I love Sam. I hope he and I are okay. I'm getting the impression he and I aren't at that point in the game. But yeah, I thought it was really smart what you did.
God, I wish I could remember where I heard that you said my name. Because I don't think that was just, I know I was a little chaotic and erratic.
Yeah.
But I don't think I just straight up made that up. I'm pretty damn sure I did hear from someone, maybe the same person, maybe multiple, that Molly and Alex had said my name. And
I think, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, it was the morning I did my pendant, right? And
yeah.
So I think what's very realistic is there may have been a conversation that each of you had individually or in different or whatever, just being like, oh, so Sam has a pendant. That's kind of crazy, right? And that gets construed to me as Alex is talking about you. So I don't know. That's just the theory. I really don't remember where I heard that.
Yeah. And it's, it is what it is. And again, your name probably came up just because you talk about players when you're in a game like this. But I, under no circumstances, and again, someone will have to correct me if I'm not remembering, it was never we need to get rid of Sam. I might have maybe I told someone about our conversation or at the pool, something like that.
Yeah.
But no, it was never we have to get Sam out next, because I was like, Sam's one of the only people that will talk game with me. So why would I get rid of him? So I think at that point, that's where my brain was. And so obviously we'll get into it later as we're talking about this. But yeah, you obviously proved that we were working together. But yeah, there was a moment that day where I was like, I think I've lost Sam. I think he's voting me out. I don't know what's happening right now because he won't tell me. He won't tell me who apparently was saying that I was talking about him or in what context. So anyway, it is what it is. That being said, are we going into the? I know we've been calling it OTEV. Are we even allowed to call it OTEV? Is CBS going to come and kill us?
It's technically called Name That. Does it matter? No. It's essentially OTEV, except you have to bring back a variable number of answers. And there is actually a couple of notable changes that end up affecting people's strategy. Yeah. So I will walk through the differences because, at least for me, they're important since the episode didn't bring it up. First off, if multiple people have the wrong answer, it doesn't matter. Only the first person to present a wrong answer is eliminated. At that point, everyone else is good, and it literally does not matter what they brought back.
Doesn't matter.
The other thing is that you don't have to step in the first slot that you can. You can step into any of the open rings, including the technically eliminated slot. It just is when every single ring is filled. That is when the round is technically called, and the last person is forced to fill in the remaining spot. So those two rules do actually significantly impact the round that I will talk about because I think it's one of my better strategic decisions up to this point. But, I mean, we get into the comp itself. We have a couple of interesting notes as we go through the rounds of Reynolds slipping Lee the correct answer. And then at the end of round one, Monty and Alex are eliminated. Alex, it seems like you just simply ran out of time.
What's terrible is I literally was like, the only answer to this question that makes sense is Veronica. And I knew the answer. I wasn't 100% sure, but I was like, I'm 98% sure it's Veronica. So let me try and, just kind of see if Antoinette flips over Veronica and runs out, then I, know that I'm correct. But I'm just looking for Veronica. And I'm not confident that there was another Veronica. So, what was it? I was set up for failure. No, I'm kidding. So this is not me being a source or a sourpuss or a sore sport or anything like that. There is some semblance of luck in this challenge because you can know the answer. You can know the elimination order. You can know everything. But if you just don't stumble upon a card or the card that you need, and it's round one, you could argue like, hey, you can try and do like a mental map of, hey, I know there's a Derek card in this corner. I know there's a Maddie card in this area. Like, when it's round one, it really just is the first four people to find the correct answer and get into those spots, just move on. So sadly, what was it? I was just not able to get there quick enough. And so it really was just one of those. My optimism for this round died when it was a memory challenge for captains. Then with the team selection, I was like, oop, we might be in trouble. Optimism. Then when it was it's a double elimination. It's like, all right, my optimism is in my uterus. And then when I get eliminated in the first round, I'm like, what the hell is optimism? So we're not feeling particularly confident or great at this point.
We then move on to round two. Round two is simply bring back the players who were eliminated during rounds 4 and 5. And just to be clear, I have all of this memorized because unfortunately I had been through hell in said 6 rounds. So it was very much like, yeah, no, I unfortunately have this all burned in my brain. So we do see another pretty standard round. Reynolds and Lee once again work together. Also notably, I believe I was the person who figured out you cannot step in the earliest possible hexagon in round 1. I think Reynolds does the same thing in round 2. So at that point, it's kind of known if people are paying attention. And we see Molly and Antoinette simply run out of time and are both eliminated. Molly didn't even have the correct answer in the first place, so she was going to be eliminated that round no matter what. Now, round 3.
Mm-hmm.
This round, in my opinion, is where where unintentionally I got the ball rolling to send the person on my side home, but it wasn't necessarily intentional, at least not at first. At least on my side of the fence, because we see Reynolds and Lee working together once again and simply put, outpace Maddie, and by the time Maddie can even get back, it is over, and the two of them have literally pooled the answers and are the final two for the green side. On the yellow side, I was not confident with this question. And Derek and I, as you can see, compare answers and look at it, and I realize, wait, actually, no, my answers are probably right here. And I just am like, without showing Derek my answers, I say, yeah, no, Derek, you're probably right. And I step into my hexagon, and then Derek steps back in, and I'm like, done. Derek is wrong. His answers are going to be read first, and regardless of my answers, I know I'm right, because I at least know that I believe Lee was your other answer other than Alex, and I was like, I know Alex won. So you are wrong no matter what. I'm through, and I don't have to worry about this question.
I will note that while I was there, I doubted myself. I didn't trust myself on this question, but I had the correct answer and told Derek, I believe that it's
Yes.
Alex and whoever else it was. And
Did I shut you down?
Reynolds.
yeah, you shut me down. You did. You shut me down a little, and I was like, "Oh my god, no!"
That's what happens when you trust a delusional bitch.
He's so confident. And then I was
I
like,
knew Reynolds
fine,
was
I'll just
right.
be a buddy.
I will also say for this challenge, like the rules of it, like I was not even like paying attention to the whole like which specific, shape that we step into, what that means. I had the power in my pocket, and I know during the whole competition my mind was like, keep that contained, don't let that fall out, because like I was so involved with like, oh my god, I have to like keep my hands in my pants to like make sure that it stays there. That like, so, I know, so funny, ha ha ha.
Amazing. I can't
I
even lie.
mean,
That's so good.
But I was so absent-minded because I was like, I can't let this power fall out of my pocket. Like, what if somebody fucking finds it during this challenge and snatches it from me? Like, and there was a little fun moment that I kind of took it out. I was all the way on the right, so it would have been the left on the episode, and I kind of took it out of my pocket and I flashed it to the pre-jury because I saw that they were watching, just to be a little flashy, because I am sometimes that bitch. But yeah, you got me on that challenge. I was like, is this right? And you said uh-huh, and I went, okay.
And then we both sat back, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I even like show you the answers at the end.
You don't.
So you don't even know that I'm just like bold-faced lying.
But I figured, I was like, okay, maybe we have the same answers. And you were like, yes, what you have is right. So what I have is right. But yeah, that isn't how it worked out. Delusion. It does a girl wonders.
Dirty dog.
delusion. Convince yourself.
On one hand, your delusion is like, everyone is good with me, I'm fine. On the other hand, my delusion is the second I am eligible to receive votes, they will shoot me through the back of the head. So I need to do whatever I can to make sure that doesn't happen. So literally, I think that's why I'm so willing to just like run you over with a bus here. Because like,
and it makes sense. Like, I also want to kind of just attribute that, like, especially with that roller coaster I was talking about earlier, how I felt like I was just going up, 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 and up. That also attributed so much to the way that I was feeling during that last round. I was like, I could fucking shit all over the floor and they'd still keep me. Like, I was like, no matter what I do, I'm good.
Because she is what? That
Because
girl.
the last round
Exactly.
before that you were vulnerable, you received 3 votes.
Yeah, but 3 votes is nothing, and one of those votes went out.
Yeah. But then it was
Fair.
like, okay, but there were 6 votes. Okay, yeah. You felt
That
fine.
is like the
I didn't feel
logic
fine.
ain't logic.
I didn't feel fine.
I felt great. I was like, well, I mean, we know I felt great if you've watched the episode, so I'm gonna own it. I don't care.
I love it.
Well, I don't want to dive into it too early, but I'm like, man, the feelings that you had versus the feelings that I had going into these votes were so remarkably different.
It really is like 2 sides of a coin. It is insane. But before we get into that, let's quickly get through the final round of this.
Oh, wait.
Was...
I'm so sorry. Before we get into the final round, can we talk about Andrew's expletive?
I will say that's the most emotion that I'd seen out of Andrew thus far in the game in like
ever since
the most intense, not emotion but intensity from him that I've seen from the game. Yeah. It was I was like, oh my god, he has that like girl in him. Okay. My ears perked up a little bit actually. I was like, oh, is she coming out? You know what I'm saying?
Who is she?
Who is she though?
Who is she?
Between that moment specifically and then confessionals, I was like, I did not know this was the girl. I had no idea because I said in previous episode, Andrew's confessionals, everything so good, so concise. It's one of those when you some of the confessionals you hope are in there don't get in there. You can't even be mad when it's Andrew doing it because his confessionals are so good. So 120%. And then the F-bomb that he drops, I'm just like, oh my god. This is the most intense I've seen Andrew, and I think this is the most intense I've seen anyone in the game. Maybe since Charlie, and I think Andrew might have beat Charlie. So I was like, good God, who is she?
Yeah, no, I am fully booking it into the Bob, flipping over the 3 answers in front of the pre-jury, who all think I'm genuinely going insane from what I heard afterwards of like, were you okay? Like, it looked like you were being chased by someone, but I'm fully in, fully out, and by the time Andrew's walking out the door of the main house, he sees me and fully screams, fuck. And I mean, afterwards, he even tells me, like, yeah, no, it's nothing about you. And I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. But I got
He's very apologetic about it.
And I do not blame him at all.
He's a gentleman.
But yeah, Andrew does lose to me probably by about like 10 seconds in the final round, and I secure immunity. And then Lee beats Reynolds in a friendly little competition, and Lee wins immunity, meaning that we have 8 people vulnerable, being Derek, Molly, Andrew, and Monty on the yellow side, and we have Reynolds, Maddie, Alex, and Antoinette on the green side. One of each of those groups will be going home, and Sam will be voting at both rounds. And strategy time is happening at the same time. Good luck. Yeah, no, this round...
Yikes.
Oh, this round broke my brain. In general, I did not know what was going on with the other side at any point. They could have literally isolated us in 2 different parts of the house.
Yeah, totally. I was not worried. I was not thinking about it at all. The other ones.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here like, who wants to kick off this super fun conversation?
Well, I'll say, I was like, holy moly, I have to vote in both.
Yeah.
And I think you see a bit of it in the episode. I'm sort of I'll say I had a more vested interest, I think, in the vote with Jack, Monty, Andrew, Molly, Derek, that one felt more important to me and controllable in a way. And that's where because I think I just couldn't get the Derek thing out of my head when you went to the pool with the other people. And I was like, he's so well connected. And then I looked around, Jack, once you won, I looked around at the team comp, and like, this is sort of getting into my grander theory of the game at that time. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, but I very much felt like when I looked around in the game, I felt like on that team, you had Derek and Molly, who I viewed as both of them being in like the Cool Kids Club. I was like, Derek and Molly are a part of the power structure, is how I viewed it. And then I viewed me, Jack, Andrew, and Monty. I viewed all of us as we all, in my opinion, knew we were not necessarily in that same position of the Cool Kids Club, and we might be either outside of it or on the bottom. So sort of my goal was I'm going to listen. For most of this, that for the first half, I'm going to listen to both and see where the tide's going. But then at the end of the vote, Jack and Derek were in. I was like, I want to see if we can make it happen. But it couldn't happen earlier, Derek, because what I was scared of is if you talk about it too early in the round, that gives people time to think about alternatives and maybe for you to hear about it. And so I wanted it to happen later. And then Alex and Maddie on y'all's vote, my prerogative was sort of like, I obviously did have a dog in the fight, Alex. Maddie, I was scared. I was pretty sure you were the votes for me. I now find out later. I don't remember. I think how many times you voted for me at least once up until now.
It was once, but it was because I didn't want to vote Veronica because I loved that girl and I was just like, what am I going to do? And I came up with the reason. And that was why. But also, I didn't want to vote a woman out that round.
Yeah, and that's valid and that's real, but that was just too much evidence to me. And I still felt great with Alex, and so
but it was late every time. No, there were others, and I'm
there were others, but it was like,
and that was 90%. So early, it was so long ago.
And I think I give props to the other people on that team because I think that's why I sort of didn't seem to care about y'all's vote, because I was thinking when they all came to me and talked about it's Maddie and here's why, I think they knew like exactly what to say because they knew like, oh, Sam's at odds in his mind with if Maddie trusts him or not, or if he trusts Maddie. And so I think I basically thought it was a slam dunk. This is what it is, but now it's getting into the round. But I'll just say they got me. I thought it was Maddie, and then they blindsided me on that one. So those were my agendas.
You got one over on me because I didn't sense that you had any idea that was me at all, or that you had me clocked, or why would you? That was so random. What a shot in the dark. What? How could you? What? Really? Why me? So great job, because in my mind I was not expecting it from you because I thought, well, that we were working together, but I was surprised to see that from your perspective that we weren't. Well, I found out that we weren't by the end of the episode. I think that's about when I found out.
Yeah. I think you seeing, and I mean we'll get to it later, but 2 votes for me, and just going through the Rolodex of oh no, that vote has to be from Sim.
And then you get the amazing Maddie death stare, and then I'm just like, I didn't know how to react. But anyways, all I wanted to say, and then we'll get into the round, is going into that, I very much if I could have one shot a player out of each side. Yeah, Maddie, I was just scared about your trust. Derek, I was like, if Derek can go, that'd be great. But I felt like I needed more groundwork getting Derek than Maddie. I thought Maddie, based on what they were telling me, was okay, it's decided, easy peasy. So blindsided and got blindsided. Anyways, just wanted to throw in my perspective as the person who had to vote in too, because I've never had to do that in anything before. You have to split your focus.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
They definitely were trying to set you up at that point, but the end, for sure.
Yeah.
Those bastards.
So let's, just to keep this slightly organized, because the episode does pivot back and forth between green and yellow's deliberation. For our sake, we're going to start with talking about the yellow team deliberation, which, just as a reminder, is Derek, Molly, Andrew, Monty, and Jack, along with Sam. So initially, Derek, you said in confessional that you really didn't want me safe because you wanted me and Molly to go at it again. But since that's not an option, you then immediately pitch Monty to myself, Andrew, and Molly, and wanting either Monty or Molly to take a fall here. Just generally walk us through that strategy going into the round.
So realistically, with all the people that were there, I obviously picked Molly to be on my team, so I didn't necessarily want her to go anywhere, but I wanted, the you and her rivalry to continue from after last round. That would have been great for me. I had a pretty good relationship with Andrew, and Sam was also safe. I wasn't even going to vote Sam, even if he wasn't, but that kind of just left Monty by default. Throwing back to the social challenge, I forget the name of it. I had put quite a few balls in Monty's egg carton because I felt like he was like slightly targeting me, and I felt like I damaged a lot of the relationship from there. I'm actually surprised that it took as long as it did for it to kind of bubble up in the game. But I was like, at this point, with the people that are left, that's the only thing that makes sense for me. A big part of the reason why I said to Molly that we should throw each other's names out to him was because I didn't want to involve Andrew in throwing. I didn't want to throw Andrew's name out to him to make him any more sus or worried as the other person that's vulnerable. I wanted to make sure that he was close with us, and I knew I could trust Molly that we could throw each other's names out, but know that we aren't meaning it. So that was a big part of that. I did not, well, I don't want to jump to the end quite yet, but yes, that was kind of general overall thoughts, like immediately off the bat.
I will say, when I did see that, I was like, kudos, Derek.
I knew that Andrew's vote was going to be important, and I was thinking, okay, at the end of the day, if we can have 3, that's enough to tie it. I figured we'd have more than 3, but I was like, we didn't throw his name out. He should vote with us.
Really, kind of pivotal for Andrew, caught between Monty and Molly in his allegiances. Kind of haven't considered that as a choice that he had to make there. So
I think
congratulations for making it, I guess.
If I recall, I want to say that was sort of the conversation I had with Andrew that kind of led to Derek happening, because Andrew says something along the lines of well, they're saying Monty, but I like Monty. And then Jack's safe, I'm safe. And he's like, but then I like Molly. And I just remember that's where you squeeze in, and that's where you're like, what if there was another name? And it was like, he who must not be named, it's lingering in the air. He's like,
wait a minute, is Derek Voldemort? Is Derek
in this scenario? He is, because it was almost like he got as close. He got the ball to the 1 yard line to be able to just reach over, because it was literally like, well, Jack's safe. I really like Monty. I don't want to do Molly either. And it's like, well, what's the next name?
I just feel like if I ever play in another LRG with Sam, I got to make sure he is the last person I take to the pool. Holy crap. I was going to say, you take 3 people to the pool after Sam and you are Voldemort. I'm sorry.
Yeah, literally,
Just kidding.
No,
Just kidding.
but
Yeah.
I do want to also just kind of, because I didn't really touch on it earlier when you kind of brought it up, and just to give perspective for my game, Sam, like I hadn't voted the previous day at all, and the way that I was playing, if I wasn't voting, I was butting the fuck out. Like I would stand privy to a conversation or two, but I really felt like that was kind of something Marshawn did poorly, was really get involved in the game and push his own agenda while he was safe. I didn't want to do that. I was going to sit back. I was going to take this time to kind of like be calm, do my own thing, vibe. And so that's why that previous night I was like, no, I'm going to hold court. I'm going to have one-on-ones with as many people as possible because this is my time to connect with people and ensure that they know I'm still on their page. Yes, obviously I did it publicly, but at that point in the game, everybody was having public conversations. I didn't think that I was doing anything that was like crazy, but I also understand other people's perspectives too.
And that's why you're he who must not be named with like the highest confidence or the highest level of respect. The reason you couldn't be named is because as we're talking, me and Andrew feel comfortable naming all the names. We didn't want to say your name because it's terrifying. Everybody loved Derek. And so we both knew like, okay, Derek's a really good player, but we all love that guy. And so it's like, you don't want to say, like your name was the name where it's like, we don't want to say this unless it's going to go through.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
If we say this and it doesn't happen this round, like the whole power structure, like we're just throw it off to the side. We're like, get him out of here. Yeah.
I also think something that really benefited Monty was knowing that his name was out there. He got to have conversations where he could be really real and like give good facts and like points about why he should stay. And I'm not trying to say like, I wish I had that. I mean, obviously I did. I do wish I did, but I kind of had it at such a surface level with conversation because I was under the impression, okay, everybody's telling me yes, this looks like it's looking good. I don't really need to reveal more that could damage my game further ultimately. But it was a good move. I mean, I loved it. I was a fan.
Yeah. At least on my end, like, I get pitched a small thing by Monty of like, hey, here's the power structures of the game. And like, I'd kind of internalized that's kind of what was going on. But I think that conversation in particular, where Monty's like, yeah, here's the power structures. And I go, you know, if Derek goes, that feels like it might sever a link between Molly and Antoinette and possibly Lee and Reynolds. Like, it felt like you were almost a nucleus to, like, kind of band a bunch of different groups together. And I think that's the moment where it sparked in my mind, especially of Monty saying, oh, yeah, no, we'll do all that. Anyway, I'm going to pitch Molly. And I'm like, wait, no, you totally have dropped a name here. Like, what's happening? And I do almost immediately after like talking to Monty, just wrap that conversation out to you and you and Molly of like, yeah, no, this is what's going on. But then off to the side, Sam and I have our important conversation of like, hey, so do you want to target Derek? And of course, I know Sam is willing to do crazy shit. So that's why I'm okay pitching it to Sam, especially because you had thrown out names in front of me and I hadn't mentioned it. And I mean, we had seen in like episode 5 where I was like, hey, good idea, wrong timing. Yeah. So now that I'm away with you, I'm like,
no, right timing.
Numbers are here, right timing. Let's do this, but we're both going to shut the fuck up because I'm like, I'm not letting this happen again.
Yeah.
And on the side, I then like go to Andrew and I'm like, I'm not going to directly say that I'm going to pitch Derek, but I'm going to let Andrew say the name and then I'm going to agree.
That was
like,
so
hey,
good.
Andrew, if you had your choice out of any of these 3 people, who would you pick? He says, Derek,
so good.
Flip the switch. Cool. We're voting Derek. There's a plan for it. You're in. Cool. Done.
So
and then I immediately tell Monty, just very much the one moment I will give myself strategic props on so far of like, oh no, I actually know how to play the game when I'm not being targeted and dragged in the mud.
Yeah,
That was-
gives you a little. Yeah, sure.
That was a
Or, yeah.
that was a beautiful moment.
No, that was
Maddie
really good.
Reasonably pissed because I'm taking out his number one.
No, I'm props. It's great. You two,
I'm convinced.
proud of you.
No, that was dope. I
Oh.
felt like that was
You did
poetry in
that.
motion. You couldn't
It
have done
was.
that better. And it was so cool. And then I love that we got the final cap on it, which was let's all get in a room. Like, and I'm pretty sure, Jack, I don't know if you remember, I'm pretty sure us doing that was like a minute before the end, 2 minutes before. It was like
Something
right
very
at
close
the
to
end.
the end.
Very, very close.
It's like we're doing this, right? And for good reason, because that's where it gets. If there's 5 minutes after that, maybe Derek gets in someone's ear and is like, by the way, it's not me. And then maybe he reads them, and then maybe he plays the safety without power, and then all of a sudden it goes out the window. So I think, Jack, with your silver tongue there, and with us organizing at the right time with the right group of people, it was just like, let's band together and get this really well connected player out. And hopefully, also, I don't think any of us knew about the power, right, Derek?
No,
on that
no.
side.
The only person I knew was Alex.
And so I guess that's a good case study and why it's good not to have anyone leak to the person that they're the vote. Because like sometimes you'll see people try and either jury manage or just keep trust by saying, hey, just so you know, I'm voting you. It seems like that's how it's going. If any of us had tried to do that, the whole plan would have been blown, but we didn't know it. And so, yeah, kudos to the four, group of ragtag bandits pulling together. And Jack, yeah, that was honestly maybe so far in the season, that was maybe my favorite strategic moment captured. That was so cool.
Now, remind me, Molly was not in that room, right?
No.
Yeah, we left Molly out.
That girl did not know.
We left Molly out. Do I know why? No.
I think there's an obvious. She wouldn't.
There's an obvious reason of like, oh, Derek is in the power structure.
No.
I do think you're right. Of like the whole pitch was Derek and Molly are in the power structure that's controlling this game. If we tell Molly she's not going to do it, the plan will still go through, but there's a higher chance that Derek is alerted and Derek has something to use. We didn't know that Derek literally could have hard stopped this plan in its tracks at any moment if he felt any sort of concern.
Yeah.
So
imagine the gag when we come up with the plan, go to tribal or go to the vote, and then Derek's like, I have a leave a vote. See ya. Gag.
There's a couple things that I really want to like kind of throw in there with the power. Obviously, being a double round, I told myself if one person comes and tells me my name is out there, you should be worried. Any iota of doubt, I was going to use that. And obviously, with Molly being left out and nobody else coming to tell me, I had no inclination. And then I also wanted to say, like, when it came down to like y'all all being in a group in a room together, yes, I was aware that everybody was talking, but I also knew that Molly's name was somewhat out there too. And like I kind of said earlier, I'm a very face value player. I believe in the people that I believe in. I believed, regardless of y'all all conglomerating, even if Molly was in the room, that it doesn't necessarily mean that the people I consider like my allies or people that I'm working with are necessarily throwing my name out. Yeah, my name may be like out there, but it doesn't mean that everybody's doing it. And I kind of trusted my gut, ultimately.
Yeah.
And give Monty the fucking Oscar, y'all.
Oh my God. I wish the episode, honestly, I remember the whole scene where he was crying to me, like, and giving me the whole performance. And he got me. He got my ass good. I didn't even know what to say. I didn't know how to lie at that point. I was like, I'm pretending like I'm still not hearing that it's him and that it's Molly, but I know that it's not Molly. I know that it's him that I'm doing. Realistically, when there's this whole other plan that's brewing behind the scene, it was crazy. It was great. It was good. Yeah.
I remember I was sitting in the back row, Derek, and then at the elimination when you like put
Yep.
your hand on his back, I was like
Yeah.
gagged. Like I was like, okay. And I think that's the moment I was like, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be tea.
You can see
all of the whole thing. That was a new first time for me. I don't know how I missed it IRL, but I've been waiting for that to see it. It was great.
Well, because I think it's easy to miss if you don't know to pay attention to it. But for the four of the four of us that knew,
it was wild.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was like
comforting Monty the whole elimination because he was going through it seemingly, and I'm a good Judy. What can I say? I care about people. Like,
bless you for that. We love that.
Right.
I try my best.
So, with that being said, we're gonna rewind time a little bit and look on the other side of the mirror with the green team's strategy session, which is kind of a bit more straightforward, but with a notable wrinkle also right at the end, deciding between one of two outcomes. For clarity, because it's been like 30 minutes since we've talked about it, Lee, Reynolds, Maddie, Alex, and Antoinette are on the green team, along with Sam. Lee and Sam can't be voted for, so Reynolds, Maddie, Alex, and Antoinette are the possible names. I mean, we can start with Antoinette, Reynolds, and Maddie just immediately conglomerating outside and going, so Alex, right? And everyone else going, yeah, no, that makes sense. Which, on one hand, hard to watch. On the other hand, yeah, because 3 of 4 people who can get votes are in one place. Of course, they're going to say the fourth name.
Yeah.
I will say that it had been discussed like while the competition was still happening, kind of like on the side and like in various conglomerations already up to that point. So that was not the first time that it had come up. But yes, that is convenient because it wasn't going to be Lee, obviously, out of the people who were talking. But sure.
Obviously. Sorry.
Obviously.
So between Maddie, Alex, obviously you two are the 2 names of the round. As the round is going on, what are you feeling in terms of like how much weight is on you, where you think you lie with the others, all that?
I said it earlier in the episode that I felt relatively safe. Like I maybe that was dumb, but I really did once the teams were formed. Just based on how the individual relationships that I felt like I did have with Antoinette and Reynolds and Lee up until that point. I was convinced, and like so I wasn't too worried. I knew that my name was like the other name and that Alex was going to vote for me and like maybe somebody else like does something or it could have been me, but I was as confident as one can be when like when it's 1 or 2, I guess, until the whole Lee confronts me about the thing that Sam has said, and then I become, a little more concerned. Which I don't really remember. I don't really remember what I said to Sam or like if that was like an actual thing. But I do remember the confrontation, not the confrontation, but Lee coming to me in the moment and just saying the first thing that came to my mind, really. And yes. That was scary though, because I thought that I was losing Lee there, and that would have probably sunk me if he decided to go the other way.
And Maddie, I'm gonna be so real. I don't fully remember the extent of truth there.
Yeah.
I don't think it was just completely out of thin air, but whatever it was, I was definitely cranking it up to be like, okay,
Yeah.
Leah's someone a lot of people trust, and I can tell the game that he's playing, he's trying to play a game where like other names are being said and he's not the name. So if he hears that someone started saying his name, he'll go for them. And so that was sort of my max level of like quote unquote interference, like in a round that I'm safe, that I wanted to like start getting into. I didn't want to push like, bulldoze hard necessarily, but I was like, if I can tell Lee about this thing, and Maddie, it was probably more similar to what you said, where we probably were just like, let's look at our notebooks. Oh yeah, Lee won a lot. And maybe you said Lee's good at comps. And then, that was enough for me to go around to it and be like, oh, like, dude, you got it. Maddie's saying your name, just so you know. He says you're a really good player. Like,
I mean, honestly, at that point in the game, like the power structure that everybody else is describing is like very different to me. And I saw Lee as the center of the power structure at that point in time. So I was very much trying to be in his good graces as much as I could possibly be. I didn't see what you all saw.
I think I mean, I call it the Cool Kids Club. I think it was the way I viewed it. You had Molly, Derek, Lee, Antoinette, and Reynolds. And the reason I felt like they were sort of the main power structure is they were sort of the five who each of them had their own individual connections, but they were a five who sort of got together and they all meshed together like, okay, we can all sort of work together here. Whereas you have like me or Jack or Andrew, like we have these other folks, Alex, where I feel like all of us had our one-to-ones with different people in that, but all of us had something really good to say about multiple people in that group. So it was always going to be easier, in my opinion, to push a name from outside of that five, where it's like maybe one or two of that five is affiliated with them, than it is to push one of that five, because I felt like they all sort of had each other, and I don't think that's what the outsiders necessarily had with each other. And so those were the five where I was like, okay, they're the ones who are not necessarily getting talked about as much, and they also are working together.
I love that. I never felt that way in the game either, but obviously with how your perception is, that makes complete sense. It makes sense that I wouldn't feel that way and you would. So but I love that. I love being in a power position, mama. I just thought I had good relationships.
I mean, I feel like until this episode, you had great relationships.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah.
And I mean, the same way that we've seen multiple other people this season go out because of the team they're on just not having a good composition for them.
Right.
I think Derek, that's why you get pinned, and I think Alex, that's kind of also why you get pinned, because on one side we have the supposed cool kid structure alliance, where it's basically 4 versus 2 if you include Sam as Alex and Sam versus everyone else.
Right.
And then on the other side we have Derek and Molly versus everyone else. And here it's a lot easier for that power structure to just make the move they want to.
Yeah.
Down here it's the people on the bottom have to realize they're on the bottom for that move to even exist.
Yeah. And to answer your earlier question about like how we're feeling about this vote, just because I know we are cutting it close time wise. I know for me, I sadly was kind of hoping there was more tension between Lee and Maddie, since Maddie had stolen Lee's captaincy that he had worked really hard for. So I kind of was like mentioning that, like Lee was someone that I was really trying to work very, very closely with. So I kind of was like, well, that's going on. As far as Molly and Antoinette goes, like obviously one of the main storylines for me this season was I was like, why are we just chopping all the uteruses in this game? And I think for me, you know, I was like they're not necessarily saying, yes, Alex, please come in, please work with us. So I was like, okay, eventually, if it's really going to turn into a me versus a female, obviously I'm going to advocate for myself. But yeah, I had kind of hoped that there would be some semblance of not paying it forward, but at least in the case of Antoinette and Molly the round before, well, Alex is really sticking his neck out and telling people point blank he's not going to vote for us. And the fact that I don't know. I think maybe I'm just being sensitive since I obviously go this round. It seems like the conversation is, there really was a back and forth. And I feel like we see a lot of Maddie saying why he's voting for me. We see why Reynolds is voting for me. We see why Antoinette is voting for me. I don't really feel like we get much of a semblance on why Maddie's name is actually up, which is why when Maddie said, I didn't think until the episode that I was in any danger via Maddie's perception on the danger he was in. And I was like, I watched the same episode as you, and I still don't perceive that you were in much danger. I think your name got floated obviously by Lee, but I didn't get the semblance that it had much traction with Reynolds, which was fine. Reynolds was absolutely someone who down the road, I was like, he's got to go because nobody is talking about getting rid of him. And he's winning social challenges. He's winning skill-based challenges. He's been vulnerable to be voted out multiple times, but his name has not come up once. But yeah, I think I was kind of hoping there'd be some semblance of Antoinette being like, Alex has advocated for me. Maybe Alex will continue to advocate for me. Maybe I can talk to Alex about working down the road. And that didn't happen. And that was kind of a bummer that it didn't happen. It was also, I know when Jack got voted out, you know, it was like, not only did he get the heads up he was getting voted out, there was like a crying party for how much we love Jack and how much we don't want to see him go, even though there's another option. Sorry, Maddie. You know, but we're going to go ahead and vote Jack anyway. We're going to let him know. And we're just sobbing. And the whole situation with that leading up to it, because I could tell I didn't have Antoinette, which was kind of heartbreaking. And I kind of felt like Reynolds is going to keep me if Reynolds thinks it's in his best interest. I haven't said Reynolds' name ever out loud. Apparently, I might have said something to Lee to allude to me acknowledging that Reynolds was a threat. And I had never done anything against Lee. And yeah, landing the plane. It was kind of heartbreaking in the Antoinette situation. And like I said, the Molly situation around before, just I'm like, Did I literally just advocate and just say, no, we're not doing that just for the same people I was trying to protect to turn it on me when they had the chance? So that was it was hard to watch back. It was, obviously it's a game. So it was a bummer to kind of see it kind of play out in the way that it went. It was also a bummer to have people say that my vote was unreliable when, in my opinion, I was very straightforward with my vote. I was very honest with my vote, and I was very reliable to multiple people. Maybe not to some of the people calling me unreliable, but I think the phrase Alex is unreliable to anyone, or he's not reliable to anyone for a vote. And I was like, I point blank told people I wasn't going to vote for certain people. So that to me is particularly reliable. But yeah, it was tough just because it really didn't feel like there was much debate. It didn't feel like there was much debate. It didn't really feel like there was much of we really need to get rid of or keep Alex for these reasons, or here's the benefit in keeping Alex. It just felt like, well, bye, Alex. And it's the game. It is what it is. But yeah, you get in your feels. You want to think, oh, I got voted out because I was a threat, or I was voted out because I stuck my foot in my mouth. or I, got caught having too many deals. And I'm like, damn, I really don't feel like I did anything that was really worth, not that I didn't do anything worth voting out, but I didn't do anything that I felt made me a super strong threat in any capacity. But yeah.
Yeah,
I think you were likable, and I think that was a big aspect to it too. So don't sell yourself short for that. I did just want to say that. Like, you are very likable and you are very easy to talk to. And I also want to chime in that I did know, I had been told, and I remember this by Lee, that the vote was between you and Maddie. So I know that it was, at least at the point in time of the conversation I had with him, it was not point blank or dry paste cut, whatever, which obviously leads to another decision that I make on my way out. But yeah.
And I think another thing to add to that is, it did seem like, to get a vote to happen, you do want a majority. It's scary to tie. And so I think you do see independently, like, Alex, you and I are down to do Maddie. And then we see Lee in the confessional saying, like, I want to nudge this to Maddie, because I think I'm not necessarily sure if he was the deciding vote that he would have voted you out over Maddie, but we also see that Lee wants to operate as a unit, and so that's when we see the Lee, Reynolds, Antoinette group come together and be like, okay, what do y'all think about Maddie? Apparently Maddie might have said my name, and so I don't necessarily think it was like open and shut like it may seem. I really do think if Lee had gotten positive feedback when he was like, what do we think about Maddie saying that? I think it could have been Maddie. But I'll also say, I remember thinking, like, it did feel a little weird, because Alex was Alex was the one person where every round you knew where Alex was voting. And it wasn't necessarily as much of a question, at least in my opinion. And so I was a little confused thinking about, like, best interest, like, specifically with Antoinette. I was like, if I'm Antoinette, like, if there's someone in the game and they're like, we shouldn't vote out people named Sam, I'm going to be like, yeah, let's keep that person in the game. You know what I mean? And so I was very shocked in terms of thinking about your own best interest. I was like, isn't this the one person you do want to stay?
Sure.
And so...
and obviously I was a big champion for, hey, let's talk about optics. Let's talk about, hey, what the round that Rose left, we talked about it when she was on here. Hey, there's 3 women sitting in a circle. They must be working together. And I'm like, must they? And obviously they weren't, because 2 of the 3, or what was it? The other 2 women voted for her that round. But for me, it's like, I guess my brain and, possibly the last time I get on a soapbox, where it's like, if I know there's a small number of people of color and they're getting picked off relatively quickly, and I know for a fact someone is saying, I'm not going to do that. I think for me, I would have a very hard time. Not that I would never vote them out. Like, I don't fault anyone for voting me out, but I think there is like a semblance of, I think for my, call it ego, call it whatever you want. It would have meant a lot had there been like hey, I appreciate so much what you've done and how you've tried to represent not only yourself, but also you've tried to advocate for people of certain groups. That being said, I do feel it is in my best interest to give you the chop this round. And I understand the logic, like maybe the answer is, hey, we were worried you might have had a power, whatever the case may be. It really is. I think that more than anything is really just where F my drag, I guess, of it all, where it's like, you see how certain people go out and how they do get the heads up. They do get the tears. And it's just, I think that more than anything was kind of where it's like, okay. So not to crucify anyone, not to, try to make a mountain out of an anthill or whatever, a molehill, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think we talk a lot this season just about, the way women were being taken out early and the way that not that it was anyone's goal to make it happen, but obviously I go, and hypothetically had Monty gone, what would the racial optics of the top half placement of the cast been? And maybe maybe for me, it's just something where it's like no one has to care about this at all. But yeah, I think if the numbers and the roles were reversed, I'd be like, well, I feel kind of weird about this. But again, I feel like the way I'm phrasing it makes it. I'm not trying to villainize anyone for anything. I'm truly not. I'm probably going to ask Jack to send this to me so we can just cut basically half of the last 10 minutes, if not the last 15. But I adore all of you. It just, yeah, it sucks to get voted out sometimes. We'll leave it there.
It do be sucky.
It do be well.
Trust. Yeah.
So, we do kind of get a final moment, kind of merging the two strategy sessions together. With first, we see Derek go, "No, I think I'm good this round. Like, under most circumstances, I'd be playing my leave a vote here. I'm good. I don't really think I need to do it. I know it's crazy. If I go out blindsided like this, it's terrible." Like, if someone asked you to do a confessional like that, that's fine. That was a live in-game confessional within the strategy period, which makes it funnier.
Oh,
And then we
delusion.
Delusion.
I'm
Full
sick with
delusion.
it.
And then we also see, basically in the last couple seconds, Alex going to Derek and saying, "Hey, can I have your leave a vote?" And Derek is going, "No, I'm pretty sure I'm going to play it for myself now. And I don't want to start a fight."
No,
But
start a fight.
Derek,
Yes.
you specifically say this is because you want to keep it, but you are lying to Alex
Yes.
intentionally to kind of hold that off and
Yes.
make sure that you can just stay fit.
Yeah.
Talk us through it.
So part of that was we didn't know which group was voting first. So that was the first part of it all. In my mind, I don't know why, I was like, my group is going to vote second. And then Alex isn't even going to see me not play it and keep it. So that was part of it. But then the other part of it was I wanted to hold on to it too, selfishly. Call me names. And then the third part of it was that I had heard that Maddie was the backup. I heard that Maddie was going to be the person voted for if Alex was off the table. Maddie was my number one. I would have felt, and I did feel terrible. I felt so fucking terrible lying to you, Alex. I felt so terrible about the way that I did it, but I had to prioritize the person that I felt closest to. If I fucked over Maddie's game, that would have probably hurt just the same as me getting, like he was the person I was closest with. And
I think once you told me that, sorry to interrupt.
No, please.
I think once you told me that, I was like, I can't be mad at this. And I wasn't really.
It would have been more fucked if I didn't know that Maddie was, for me, it would have been more fucked for me if I didn't know that Maddie was going to be the backup, because there is a chance, I don't know, because obviously we're not there. There is a chance, a higher chance at least, that I do give it to you. And I would have been, I would have been livid either way, but especially if Maddie and I both got voted out. I would have felt terrible.
Well, and I said this in a previous episode, and I'll keep it brief. You and I knew each other from, what was it? You're the only person I knew in the cast, and I had only done prod in an all-star season.
Yeah, that I was in for 3 rounds.
Whoops. Yeah, what was it? Shout out to Triumph. But yeah, you were the only person I knew, and we had never even played together. So you were someone that I kind of kept at arm's length because Alex is an idiot, and it's like, no, I want to play with people I don't know that well. You and I were in orbit of each other, but it really, I don't think it was either the end of who went 6. So it was either right after Jack's vote out, or the start of the day with Rose's vote out.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere either the end of day 2 or the start of day 3, where you and I even had like our first strategic conversation.
Yeah.
So so it very much was just I can't be mad at Derek for wanting to protect his number one. So under no circumstances is there any bad blood there. The joy and the revelry that you seem to have in telling the story about lying to me made me go, damn, girl.
Because I'm a psychopath.
What did I do to Derek?
No, you literally, it was me still playing the game as I got eliminated. And that I don't know why there's joy for that, but like I know that I still had an impact on the game. Do I have joy that it was you over Maddie? No, but I have joy that I protected my number one to a certain degree.
And
Whereas
that's totally
somebody who
fair.
maybe, wasn't thinking about the game at hand, even while they're being eliminated, like may not have thought about that. And I was very like, and when you hug me at the end and you you whisper in my ear and you ask for it, I say I left it downstairs and it was in my pants. So yeah.
Which at that point, it's almost just like, girl, you could have just said, "I can't give it to you," and I would
But
have been like,
I guess I felt
I
like
would have been like, "Bet."
doing that.
But again, like you have nothing to defend. Like it makes all the sense in the world why you didn't pass it on, and that's totally okay. If anything, the only person that I was kicking about that was myself, because I literally saw that when we were voting the round that Stevie went. I literally was like, there is an advantage right there. Do I grab it? Do I not grab it? Molly's been in trouble because people think she has a pendant. Jack was in trouble because people knew he had an advantage. I don't want to grab it. And what was it? It was in plain sight of the people who weren't voting. So I was like, if I slide this out from behind the poster, someone's gonna see, or heaven forbid, Derek's just like, because we're not allowed to talk while we're voting.
Yeah.
Heaven forbid Derek's like, a cough, cough. Everyone looks behind, and you start pointing at me.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I was like, I don't know what Derek's gonna do. So I'm looking at this advantage, thinking, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then I look over, and you're staring straight at me like this.
Yeah, well, and I wasn't even trying to be intimidating. I was trying to like telepathically communicate.
No.
What do we want to do about this?
Right.
Like,
No.
Like, I was trying to have a conversation with our eyes, baby.
No, I didn't take it as an intimidation thing. It was just my soul left my body. Because then it just becomes do I go for this? Do I not go for this? I don't know what to do. And to your credit, you said, bitch, what was it? Opportunity knocks.
Literally.
It does not beg.
I see Alex. This is Alex staring. And I'm sitting here looking up because Alex is so much taller than me. Like,
yeah. So I was like, let me not grab it and it be like swap teams, and then everyone thinks I have a pendant or an advantage. And then as soon as you told me it was safety without power, I was like, oh my God, what have I done? So literally when you felt like you were good, I was like, I have no business asking this man for this power. I'm about to ask this man for this power twice. So is what it is. If you ever see a power and it's in front of people, just grab it. That is what I take with it. Sorry, there you go. Oh, the amount of I would have played the flying hell out of that thing. I would have looked everyone dead in the eye, and I would have been like, Reynolds, Lee's voting for you. Antoinette, what was it? Maddie's voting for you. I would have done all kinds of nonsense and then be like, y'all have fun with this vote. I'm out. So, but that's the game. You gotta, it's risk versus reward. And clearly I was too afraid to take the risk and it bit me in the butt. So that being said, interest of time, we do see Derek go. Derek, thoughts, feelings on that elimination?
I mean the episode captured it really well. I was gagged. I loved it. I take being blindsided as like a badge of honor. I don't feel like as a Sagittarius who loves attention, there's no better attention than being blindsided, mama. That's my favorite. I love that. So we could do that 10 times a day and I would still get a kick out of it. So I was very happy about it. Was I a little bit upset that I didn't play my power because I'm a dummy? Yeah, but I didn't care. I had a great time. I was proud of myself. I think the way that the episode framed it, it really made me feel good about being voted out. I was expecting to get a dunce edit even harder than I feel like I did, which I was hoping for. I was like, I want to look so fucking stupid, like, because I deserve that. But no, I loved it. I had such a great time playing. And I don't think I really would have changed. There's one thing I would have changed, an obvious thing. But beyond that, I don't think I really would have changed that much.
And that is totally fair. I think for me, it was, I went into every elimination I wasn't safe and thought, and it's just how I play the game. Like, you can't blindside me. I go into every vote thinking it could be me. So Yeah, I pretty much, especially towards the end of the deliberations when Lee started saying, I think things are the same. I don't think anything's changed. I was like, baby, girl. So yeah, I was, I think in the moment I was just so mentally taxed and done that I just said, yeah, if it's me, I'm just gonna hopefully get a full night of sleep tonight. And I think I might have, but yeah, it was we did the damn thing. I love the idea of you and I being the Trinity and Monet exchange of Ascendance
Yes.
season 6. Wonder Twin powers activate. I think you and I both did the damn thing, definitely for different reasons, but still effectively memorable. I'm trying to put myself on your level, which is very undeserved
Which
for me.
no, you
Because
deserve to be. You
you
deserve
are
to be.
you are so iconic, and I'm just sometimes funny. So that being said, I know we're trying to keep to a specific time crunch. Jack, is there anything you want to do to kind of start the process of sending us out?
I mean, we did just wrap with, the both of you. So first off, thank you both for being here. And to our two guests, Sam and Maddie, I know it is late for all of us. And I want to thank you all for continuing to have the mental stamina to be here. I know in order to do that, I had to chug 2 Celsiuses earlier, and my body is still crashing. So I know it's rough. But I want to thank you all for being here, especially at a very, very awkward time slot. Starting from, I guess, Sam and going around to Derek. Sam, are there any final thoughts you have on this episode in terms of what you thought, excited for, anything like that?
Yeah, I think looking towards the future, it got me excited to take out a big player. I was forward, like I was already thinking to the end. I'm like, that's a resume point right there. So resume point. I weaken the big power structure a little bit. But then you also have on the other side, oh shoot, Maddie knows I voted for him. And this is going to be bad. And so it was a really interesting thing because usually in a game, when you make a big move like this, you come away from it just up here. Like you're up top, and that's just what it is. But here, I have this crazy round where I'm up here for one side and I'm down here for the other. And so that was that. After that second vote, I was like, okay, this is yin and yang. I'm really happy I just pulled off a big move, and I also had a move that completely threw me off. So I was like, this is about to become a wild, wild game. So that's where I was sitting. But also just in terms of humans, Derek and Alex were great people to just exist in the world with. So I was really, really bummed about losing them. I was like, well, shoot, like I love both of them. We have great chats, not just about game, but about life. So y'all will be missed.
Maddie.
Oh God. Let's see. Yes, this is the end of the day. This is the end of the day, right? So
At the end of the day.
since the beginning.
Wait, but is it fashion? Sorry.
This wasn't fashion, not for me. This is so not fashion. I feel like personally, from my point of view, I've just kind of been losing like everything that I had today, like little by little. And it kind of felt like at the end it was crashing down a little with the coup de grace of like this was like the first time I didn't know what the outcome of the vote was going, or was surprised by the outcome of any vote like coming up. So it was wild. And I would say that I feel like it's a miracle like that I survived like this round as well, just like, and knowing that post like pendant, post like Ken, that like I could really only operate on like individual relationships with really specific people. But now I feel so alone. I'm feeling so alone and so sad and so angry. I'm so oh my god, I'm so excited. And let's see, Alex, you were also a joy to have around, but it kind of had this is actual. I mean, like, it always sucks for anybody to go, but like the numbers feel so small, and it sucks like for anybody, because what stars, what beautiful humans everybody is. Every single one's a tearjerker.
I had, like I said, such a great time. I enjoyed meeting everybody. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for having us. You're all stars in my eyes. I love each and every one of you for independent and different reasons, because you're all so unique, and I'm just thankful to have had this experience with y'all, genuinely.
And finally, Alex, to close out the night.
Oh, it's 2:00, so I guess I'm done. No, I just want to say I know I was kind of a little long-winded on certain topics that I found to be of importance to me, and I appreciate the people that were patient enough to let me bring it up again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So we've done that this episode, so I will just say, Derek, even though it seemed like we were having way too much fun lying to me, I adore you. You have literally one of the greatest laughs I have ever heard in my entire life. You're such a joy. You're so great at just taking things for what they are and having a good time and taking everything in stride. And I adore that about you. Maddie, I can't say there's too many people that I have voted for 3 out of 4, I think, consecutive rounds. I think that was it. So I appreciate you not holding that against me.
There was 3 out of 3 that you could, though.
Which I think we both just said the same. I think we both just said 2 different things that were both accurate. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, I voted. No, I voted.
Nuanced.
Oh, you're saying 3 where I could, because I voted for Stevie,
Or
but
3
you were.
But I was exactly.
That's fake. Why do you always want to fight with me? What is this? What is happening right now?
For the record, it was 3 out of 3 that you could.
For the record, yellow and orange were not in the first sequence. That being said, I'm kidding. I love you, man.
Fight. Boxing match.
No. I say this.
I've never fought anybody in my life, and I don't plan to anytime soon. I've never yelled at anybody.
I believe that with every ounce of my being. That also being said, no, you are playing such a great game, and I can't help but look at someone who did the damn thing. I got, and I definitely think the person who was playing the game better stayed in the battle of. I don't even like calling it a battle. You're playing a great game, and obviously time will tell what's going on with that. But no, like I respect the flying hell out of you. And what was it? Everything said from me, from any level of sass or snark, whatever the case may be, it's all said in love. Sam, thank you for being my guest tonight. I think our relationship, both in the game and outside the game, truly just has blossomed in many ways, and I truly appreciate you. I appreciate the chats that we've had. As always, Jack, you are just an absolute dream to be on this journey with. Thank you for being you, and thank you for helping keep us relatively on a time schedule tonight. Because, lots of people, lots of things happened. And yes, that will be my piece on that. You're all beautiful, wonderful human beings. And forgive the soapbox to the people that I happen to be mentioning, or whatever the case may be. We're all people. We're all trying to be better. We're all trying to acknowledge where we might be doing things, where the blind eyes might be. But yes, love everyone here. And with that, I will pass.
And finally, Sam, Maddie, you and I had known each other for a little bit longer than everyone else in that cast. Sam, we were supposed to meet each other twice before a producer fucked up my scheduling, in which case I should have had $19,000 more dollars. But that's a different story. I knew the both of you coming in. It was a very interesting game that we had played before, so it was very nice to see you both again and kind of make a lot of amends for that game, which had kind of soured some things in terms of strategic relationships.
Was it nice
and
or
it was
nerve-wracking? Was it scary or was it really nice? Which
shut up. And then Derek, it was great to see both you and Maddie at the airport and start this game off well before the others. So it is incredible getting to see all of you once again, and thank you for giving me all of your amazing thoughts that I will have to clip down over a tumultuous progress tomorrow morning, and I do enjoy it over coffee. And Alex, thank you so much once again for agreeing to do this with me. It really does mean the world. It was a rough to see two hearts of the season go out on the exact same time, like 15 minutes apart. But Derek, I know you and I had talked the night before, and you mentioned how much you loved Blindsides. And even though I did not realize it until 5 minutes after you went home, I'm happy that I gave you the exact experience you wanted.
Oh, and I got it. And I appreciated it. Genuinely. I loved it.
And speaking of the exact experience we want, I know most of us want to go to sleep. So thank you all so much for being here. If you stuck through the end of it, I do have a little bit of news about next week due to work scheduling issues between myself, Alex, and the next guest. We are going to be having their episode the week that comes out with the second to next episode. So we'll be having a slight hiatus week and then 2 episodes within the same week, meaning you'll get episodes 10 and 11 at basically the same time. Will this be incredibly stressful? Stop asking questions at 2 in the morning. But
Sam is so great. I love Sam.
Thank you all so much for being here. We are going to get out of here and go to sleep and or watch Dracula, because otherwise we'll be spoiled on it when we wake up. So on that note, I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your night, and I say we get out of here. Bye.
Bye.